All right, let's begin a moment standing a little differently today. Welcome to yoga this Wednesday evening. Step your feet apart generously distance, making sure that your feet are parallel. Bend the knees generously and then bow forward, letting your arms either hang or catching hold of opposite elbows with each hand. And then just allow your spine to move in any way that feels good. Even turn your head gently in different directions. Feel your neck release. And as you're using your hands to gently pull your downward, shifting more weight towards the balls of your feet, at the same time, lift your shoulders up and away from your neck. Much space you can feel there. And then take a deep inhale. Open the mouth wide and side out. Now let's switch hold of the other arm up. And then you to sway a little more, perhaps add a gentle twist as your spine, making sure knees are very bent to allow mobility in the spine. Again, take a deep breath in, open the mouth and side out. And now as you reach the right hand towards the outside of your left leg, it might be your calf, might be your ankle. Place your left hand in the middle of your lower back, trying to balance in height while you rotate your chest towards your left leg, pulling the shoulders up, dropping the head, relaxing the neck. Take a couple more deep breaths here. Fold, gentle spine. And let's gently swing the spine so that the left arm catches hold of your right calf or ankle. And then use the right hand to, again, put some weight on the lower back and level out the hips. Keep leaning forward and then turn your chest towards your right leg, dropping the head. Find space in the neck. Deep breath in. Again, through the mouth, whisper it out. As you release the spine to center, perhaps hips distance or just slightly wider, and then bend your knees a lot and drop the head, drop the arms. With an inhalation, slowly roll your spine up, stacking one vertebra at a time and lifting your head last. Roll the shoulders behind you and exhale, slide them down, lifting up through the crown of the head. And then find a comfortable seat. So I don't know if you watched the documentary Becoming by Michelle Obama, or about Michelle Obama. I haven't finished watching it. I was in tears, but it was pretty inspiring so far. Here's a quote from it by Michelle Obama. She says something to the effect of, we can't afford to wait to feel like the world sees us as equal in order to start feeling seen. We can't afford to wait for the world to see us as equals in order to start feeling seen. And then she further said, you got to find the tools within yourself to feel visible, to be heard, and to use your voice. As humans, I understand we have insecurities. We have conditioning, whether from the culture we were brought up in, of how we should be, how we should look like, how we should talk, all of that stuff. And we can adopt these into thoughts that repeat in our heads and then become beliefs. How much of our beliefs might limit our vision of what's possible, whether for our own lives, our community, the world? How much are we possibly playing small? Just something to chew on. I'm not going to talk about it that much further now. But as we explore the various postures, remember that we can use the physical body, the wonderful, wise tool that it is, to feel confidence, to feel courage, to feel safe taking a risk within reason, and to open our minds up to the possibilities. So find a comfortable seat. Place your hands in your belly and maybe close your eyes. Let's start to use the diaphragm more consciously, breathing into the belly, closing the lips and breathing out through the nose. Feeling the belly expand and hollow with deep, equal inhales and exhales. And then preparing for Bhastrika Pranayama or bellows breath, which is an energizing, lung oxygenating posture that helps to clear the mind. So I'm gonna watch the clock for 1 minute of Bhastrika. And here's a quick demo if you're new to it. We begin with the elbows bent apart, hands like fists, because there's an action to this breath work. And we inhale, raise the arms and spread the fingers. And we exhale, rebend the elbows and refist the hands rhythmically, breathing through the nose, eyes are closed, using the diaphragm, making sure to feel expansion in belly and lungs. So let's prepare. Bend your elbows apart for 1 minute. Ready? Begin. And relax. Breathe naturally and observe how you feel. Now let's continue with Ujjayi Pranayama or victorious breath. So still closing your lips, sustain your breath through the nose while softly narrowing the back of your throat. Engaging your mind in a gentle and balanced whisper as you breathe through the nose. Joining your palms to meet at your heart. If you have an intention or a focus you want to set for your practice, allow a moment to clarify that for yourself. And then relax the hands and flutter your eyes open. Let's lie down on, or actually let's start sitting because I did promise to start with a posture that will help release sciatica pain. So if you have a strap, you may want to grab it, extend your left leg forward, and take your right thigh, crossing it over your left thigh so as to stack your knees down your midline. As you straighten the left leg, flexing the foot, use your strap if you have one to loop the ball of that foot. If you don't have one, just place your hands on the floor on either side of you. Now, as you firm down through the left and right sides of your pelvis, draw the belly slightly inward and then lift up through the center of your spine. Open the chest, open the throat, take a deep breath. Now, as you exhale, begin to hinge from your hips, trying to feel as if you have a flat back. Pause where you are, breathe in, keep firming down through the pelvis and lengthening the spine. And exhale, fold a little more if you can do so with the same feeling of a flat back. Now, if you have your hands on the ground, you can start to reach for your outer and inner calf, ankle, or foot. Now, notice the natural space you're maintaining between your chin and your chest. Open through the back of the neck, back of your skull, and broaden your collarbones, taking one more deep breath here. So this is half cow face pose. With the bottom leg extended, it offers a stretch into the hamstring as well as the lower. Let's breathe in to slowly rise up. Straighten your right leg and take your left thigh, cross it over the right so as to stack your knees down your midline. Flexing your right foot, place a strap around the ball of the foot or place your hands alongside you. And then root down through the pelvis. Breathe in, lift from the lower spine through each vertebra, through the crown of your head. And then breathe out, slowly hinge from your hips. Pause where you are, firm down through the pelvis and breathe in. Keep lengthening through the center of your spine. Breathe out, hinge a little more. And then keep going for a few more breaths. And the Sanskrit name for this posture is Ardha, which means half, Gomukhasana, half cow face pose. Still firming the belly towards your spine, lead with your chest, and inhale to slowly rise up. All right, now let's get down to our backs, lying on the floor, bending your knees. Take hold of your bent knees with your hands and just begin to rotate your thighs apart and together, slowly to the pace of your breathing. Switching directions, changing it up. Massaging the lower back and glutes against the floor, as well as lubricating your hip joints. Let's start to warm up the center area of your torso along the sides of your waist. So now bend the knees so they stack right above your hips. Parallel your shins together to the floor. And then either point or flex your feet as you open the arms wide apart on the ground. Pressing the shoulders against the floor. Inhale here and firm the belly. As you exhale, slowly lower your knees to the right, hovering off the floor while keeping shoulder grounded. Inhale, slowly lift your knees up to center. Exhale, slowly lower the knees to the left, just hovering off the floor as the right shoulder stays grounded. Inhale, rise up. If you feel ready to add some rigor, straighten the legs. Exhale, hover the feet towards the right hand. Otherwise, continue with the previous bent knees. Inhale, raise the legs up to center. Exhale, hover your feet towards the left hand. All the while, both shoulders stay on the ground. Inhale, up to center. If the legs are straight, try hovering the legs further to the right and forward, so diagonally away from you. Inhale the legs slowly up to center. Symmetrically over to the left side. Exhale, hover the legs diagonally away from you. Inhale slowly up to center, making sure the jaws relax. Exhale, hover the legs more forward, so even wider angle, and to the right. Inhale up to center. Remember, you could opt to stay with the knees bent, doing the same motion as the first round. Exhale to the left, symmetrical, diagonal to the right side. Inhale slowly up to center. Let's do one more on each side. Exhale, hover again towards the right hand. Legs are straight. Inhale up to center. Last one, exhale, hover to the left hand. Now inhale, center. And bend the knees, hug them in. Begin to rock either side to side or forward and back a few times so that you can eventually lift your torso upright and then come on forward into downward facing dog. Setting your wrists a couple inches in front of your shoulders while your knees are under your hips will give you just the right amount of length, space between hands and feet to find a lift in the pelvis that's proportionate to your body. And then take a moment here if you'd like to shift around. You could pedal the feet in place slowly to help warm up the backs of your legs, especially your hamstrings. You could turn out the straight leg as you press the heel down and look under that side of your armpits. That offers a side body stretch. You might also feel that in the sides of the lower back, swiveling to the other side. You might give your head some movement and just loosen up the neck some more. Now as you spread your fingers flat on the ground, point your index fingers forward so they're parallel to each other. And rotate your triceps or outer upper arms towards the floor as you lift the shoulders back. Freeing your neck, let your head be heavy. See that your feet are parallel to each other, at least hips width apart, Feel free to bend your knees as much as it allows your tailbone to lift high and your sitting bones to draw back, as if you have a flat back. Firm the belly, and let's take 2 more breaths here. Adho Mukha Svanasana. With an exhale, walk your hands back towards your feet to fold over your legs. Feel free to bend your knees as much as needed here as we come into Padahastasana, a rather deep forward fold. So lifting your toes, slip your palms face up underneath the soles of your feet so that you're stepping on your palms. Try to get your toes to meet the inner creases of your wrists, offering your outer wrists and forearms a stretch. Then shift your weight more into the balls of your feet and breathe in to lift the chest, lengthening the spine forward. Breathe out, keep leaning forward and hinge, dropping the head, perhaps bending the elbows apart to lift the shoulders away from your neck. Let's try that twice more. Inhale, halfway up, lengthen from your outer hips to your armpits and the sides of your neck. Exhale, hinge forward, firming the belly towards the spine. Inhale, one more. Lift the chest, press your heart through the gates of your arms. Exhale, fold in. You might like to shake the head, maybe flutter the lips. If you've got any tension along the jaw. Now slip the palms out from underneath and place your hands on your hips, bending your elbows towards the sky. Have at least a little bend in the knees, a lot bend if you've got lower back tightness. And firm the belly as you lead with the chest, inhaling to slowly rise. Inhale, raise the arms overhead, interlacing your fingers, flip your palms inside out. As you root down to the 4 corners of each foot, press the heels of your palms towards the ceiling and draw the shoulders down the back. Now hug in your front ribs and begin to side bend to the right for about 4 more breaths. Imagine your tailbone like a heavy anchor, seeking the ground between your heels. Keeping your frontal hip bones facing forward. Lift from the sideways and keep side bending for 1 more breath. As you inhale, rise up and switch the interlacing of your thumb and index. Heels of the palms press towards the ceiling. Firm down through 4 corners of your feet and hug in your front ribs. As you exhale, lift the side waist and side bend to the left. Feel the anchor that is your tailbone. Taking about 3 more breaths, lengthening through both sides of your neck. Inhale, slowly rise up. Exhale, forward folds. Press the ground of your legs. Inhale, lengthen halfway. Exhale, crawl your hands forward into plank pose, top of a push-up. We're gonna hold here for about 5 breaths. So as you stack your shoulders right above your wrists, spread the fingers wide and rebound your weight off the floor to create space in your shoulder joints. Knees could be on the ground if you want to add more support. Otherwise, with legs straight, firm your heels back and engage the fronts of your thighs. Engage your abdomen. Broaden the shoulder blades apart. Now with a long spine, the feeling of a flat back. With an exhalation, glide forward. Slowly bend the elbows back so your arms hug your side ribs. And carefully lower to the ground. Pressing the tops of your feet firmly into the earth. Feel your knees not resting on the ground. With heels of your palms hugging the side ribs, the lowest ribs, draw your shoulder blades down your back and breathe in to lift the heart space. Feel the space in your neck. Tuck your toes behind you. Slowly press up into your version of plank pose. And lift the pelvis into downward facing dog. Let's take a few breaths. So here, let's hold still. Just feeling, though you're externally not moving the body, breath is flowing inside, energy is rising as you root down through fingers spread. You're also lifting up through your sitting bones, drawing the fronts of the thigh bones back. Now keeping your hips balanced, inhale, raise the right leg behind you, flexing the toes down. As you exhale, round forward into plank, bending the knee towards your nose, and softly step the right foot just inside of your right hand, lower your back knee, and untuck the back toes into a kneeling lunge. So with your feet hips distance apart, firm your right heel still, and either press your hands onto your front thigh to lift the torso, or right away raise the arms up overhead. Now do feel as if you're dragging your legs towards each other without visibly moving them. So that's the muscular energy of drawing the right outer hip back, shifting the left outer hip forward, and even a slight lift at your pelvic floor at the base of the spine area. Lifting your frontal hip bones, feel the firm engagement of the lower belly. And if you're raising your arms, feel as if you're raising them from your hips. So lengthen through the sides of the torso and draw your shoulder heads behind you and down. As you broaden the chest, see if you can lift the spine a little taller for 2 more breaths in Anjaneyasana. If your arms are up, you might seal the palms and gaze up towards your thumbs. Now, as you exhale, carefully place your fingertips on either side, on both sides of your right leg, where you might have blocks if you need it. And plug your right thigh bone back as you straighten the right leg. So left hip stays above left knee, half split. Flexing your right foot, press the big toe mound forward. Feel the squaring of your hips, engage the front muscle of your right thigh. Now, as the belly continues to engage, broaden the chest and slightly tilt it up, opening your throat as you fold deeper and deeper to a point of balance, of opening the body to what sort of edge is necessary today, and of maintaining a calm, balanced breath. 2 more cycles in Ardha Hanumanasana. Now rebending the right knee, plant your fingertips, start to crawl them ahead of your right toes. We're going to keep the right knee bent, tuck the back toes, and begin to drag the toes forward so your hands arrive a foot in front of your right toes. We're coming into a modified supported warrior 3. So keep squaring your hips as you flex the left foot, raising the ankle to the height of your left hip. Turning your left outer hip towards the ground, lift the lower belly. Draw the right outer hip back and feel the balance of your hips. Now look beyond the ground just under your face and elongate your chest. Broaden it too. Let's take 2 more breaths in this modified Virabhadrasana 3. Slowly bending the right knee, step your left foot all the way towards the rear of your mat, cartwheeling your arms to rise into warrior 2. See that your right heel pretty much intersects the arch of your left foot as you turn your left leg to slightly face the front of your mat. Wrap your right outer hip underneath your body enough so that the middle of your right knee and middle right toe are pointing down the center line of your mat, facing forward. Firm the top of your left thigh bone towards the right wide width of your mat and feel the pelvic bowl upright and spine tall. Opening your arms, relax the shoulders. And we're going to move here. So stamp the feeling of the shape of warrior 2 in your body. Then inhale, straighten the right leg, palms up, raise the arms overhead. Exhale, rebend the right knee, palms down, come back to that imprint of warrior 2. 4 more times. Inhale, straighten and lift. Exhale into warrior 2. Inhale, lift. Exhale, warrior 2. Inhale, lift, tracking the front knee with the right middle toe. Exhale, warrior 2. Last one. Inhale, lift. Pelvis remains upright. Exhale, warrior 2. Now a new movement. Keep the legs in warrior two. Flip the right palm to face up. Lift through the sides of your waist and laterally lean towards the rear of your mat. So the left hand lightly lands on the left leg as the right arm sweeps overhead, relaxing the shoulders down. Keep the legs in warrior two, come back up, and now shift your pelvis towards the rear of your mat and lower your right forearm to gently push off of your right thigh as you sweep the left palm face up overhead towards the front of the. Inhale, rise to warrior two. Exhale, lean back to peaceful warrior. Inhale, rise to warrior two. Exhale, lean forward to side angle. 2 more rounds. Inhale, warrior two. Exhale, peaceful warrior. Keep firming the right thigh muscle. Inhale, warrior two. Exhale, side angle. Last round. Inhale, warrior two. Exhale, peaceful warrior. Inhale, warrior two. Exhale, side angle. Down at your right foot, frame it with your 2 hands and step into plank pose. Plank pose, inhale, shift forward. Exhale, slowly lower, either for cobra or upward facing dog. Firming down through the tops of your feet, draw the shoulder blades down. Exhale, let's meet in downward facing dog for a few breaths. And as you hold still, feel the subtle movement of your breathing. Feel the rooting down of energy through fingers spread and the rising up of tailbone and hips. Now keeping your hips balanced. Inhale, raise the left leg behind you, flexing the toes down. Exhale, round forward to plank, bending the knee towards your nose. Softly land the foot inside of your leg and lower your right knee, untuck the toes. With your feet as wide apart as your hips, firm your left heel still and either press your hands onto your left thigh to rise up or right away sweep the arms overhead. Now give your legs the feeling as if you're dragging them towards each other. So that left outer hip tacks back as the right outer hip slightly shifts forward. Lifting your frontal hip bones, imagine that heavy anchor that is your tailbone seeking the floor below it. And then lifting through the chest, draw the shoulder head slightly back and down. Let's take about 3 more breaths. If your arms are up, you might seal the palms and gaze up here in Anjaneyasana. Begin to lower your fingertips to frame your left leg. Plug your left thigh bone back into the hip socket, flexing the toes off the ground to straighten the left leg in half split. So your right hip remains above your right knee. As you square the hips, flex your left foot and press the big toe mound forward, engaging the front muscle of your left thigh. As the belly lifts to support the back, broaden the chest and slightly coil it up while lengthening the spine, hinging from your hips. Let's take about 3 more breaths in Ardha Hanumanasana. Now, rebending the left knee, place your weight on the sole of your left foot, tucking your right toes. Crawl your fingertips forward so they arrive a foot in front of your left toes, dragging the right toes forward, flex the foot and raise it about the height of your right hip. Keep at least a little bend in your left knee in this modified warrior three. Tack your left outer hip back and tilt your right outer hip towards the floor to rebalance the hips and lift and engage your lower belly. Look ahead of the floor just beneath your face and broaden the chest forward, taking about 3 more breaths. Feel engagement in both legs. Imagine that your right heel is firming against the back wall of your room. Equal length through the sides of your torso. Now bending the left knee, softly step the right foot all the way to the rear of your mat, windmilling your arms apart to land in warrior two. See that your left heel pretty much aligns to the arch of your right foot. As you're turning out your left leg, you're wrapping the sitting bone under your body, aligning the middle of your left kneecap with the middle left toe down the midline of your mat. The right leg slightly turning in, the right knee and toes slightly face the front of the mat. Feel the pelvic bowl upright as you lengthen the spine and open your arms. And relax the shoulders. And now let's add some movement. Imprint the shape of your warrior two right now as you take a cycle of breath. Then inhale, straighten the legs, raise the overhead with palms face up. Exhale, return to that imprint of warrior two. Inhale, lift. Exhale, warrior two. Inhale, lift. Exhale, warrior two. Feel how your pelvic bowl remains upright. Inhale, lift throughout the movement. Exhale, warrior two. Now keep the legs in warrior two. Flip the left palm to face up. Lift the sides of the torso and laterally lean towards the rear of your mat. So the right hand gently lands on the right leg and the shoulders continue to relax down. From peaceful warrior, come back up to warrior two. Glide your pelvis slightly towards the rear of your mat and reach the left arm forward, landing the forearm to gently push off of your left thigh. Flip the right palm face up and sweep it overhead towards the front wall of your room. Now let's flow. Inhale up to warrior two. Exhale, sweep it back to peaceful warrior. Inhale, warrior two. Exhale, reach forward, side angle pose. Inhale, warrior two. Exhale, peaceful warrior. Inhale, warrior two. Exhale, side angle pose. One more round. Inhale, warrior two. Exhale, peaceful warrior. Inhale, warrior two. Exhale, side angle pose. Look down at your left foot. Lower your hands to frame it. And let's take a vinyasa of your choice. Cat-cow or full on into cobra or upward facing dog. Meeting in downward facing for a few breaths. As you hold still in this posture, check in. Quality of breath, focus of the mind. What is it on? Balance of effort in the body and a lightness and ease. Then bend your knees a lot and look in front of your hands. Empty your breath and walk or float to the top. With feet touching, inhale, lengthen the spine forward. Exhale, fold. Sweep the arms. Inhale, rise tall, watching your palms touch. Exhale, your hands together at your heart. Let's prepare to balance in tree pose, shifting your weight onto your right foot. Turning out your left leg from the hip like you do with the front leg of warrior two. Wrap the sitting bone down towards your inner right heel. Then hug the inside of your right ankle, calf, or thigh with that left foot, firming against your standing leg. Hug the standing leg against the lifted foot so you're hugging the midline energetically. Press your weight through the four corners of your right foot and feel a rebounding lift up through the crown of your head. Maybe you explore raising the arms, whether the hands are together or apart. Maybe you explore closing your eyes as we take about 3 more breaths. What does it mean for you to tap into that feeling of being heard, being seen? Creating the internal conditions to feel that for yourself. Joining the palms at your heart. Set your left foot down. And take a moment to shake it out, move it out, walk it out. All right, side 2. Shift your weight onto your left foot. Join the hands at the heart. Turn out your right leg so the sitting bone wraps downward towards the inner left heel. Hug the inside of your left ankle, calf, or thigh. Spread your weight to the 4 corners of the left foot. Feel the rebound up through the center line. And then hug your midline with your lifted right foot and your left leg. And play with it. Maybe you raise the arms, maybe you look up, close the eyes. Feel your breathing, calm and steady. Last few breaths here in Vrikshasana, tree pose. Oh, my tree wants to dance on the side. And then join your hands at your hearts. And set your right foot down. Walk it out, shake it out. And let's come to stand at the top of your mat. Bring the feet to touch. Inhale, circle the arms overhead. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, lengthen halfway. Exhale, fold in. Bend your knees together in chair pose. And extend the arms forward, palms face up. Take at least 3 breaths to slowly lower your pelvis to sit on your mat. Shifting your weight towards the heels. Once you are sitting, lift the legs and come into Navasana. You could keep the arms forward, you could hold your legs, you could hold the floor. You could do 1 foot on the ground at a time, maybe 3 breaths each. Inhale, lift up from the base of your spine to crown. Exhale, 6. Inhale, broaden the chest, open your throat. Exhale, 5. Inhale, feel the strength of the belly, upper and lower. Exhale, 3. Inhale, smile, soften the face. Exhale, 2. Legs together, deep breath in. And exhale, cross the shins or slide them to one side. Place the hands in front of you and step back to all fours, hands and knees. So from here, let's do that retraction, protraction exercise you've been doing the past couple of classes. Start with your shoulders directly above your wrists. Gaze on the floor ahead of your hands and try to maintain the feeling of a flat back while squeezing the shoulder blades together into retraction and splaying the shoulder blades apart into protraction. Let's go 4 more rounds. Inhale, squeeze the shoulder blades together. Exhale, spread the shoulder blades apart. All the while the belly is firmly lifted. Squeeze and separate. Gaze stays on the ground ahead. Squeeze and separate. Keep them separated. Lengthen through the sides of your neck. And now straighten both legs so your feet come together to touch. From the heels back, as if you have one leg, because they're so connected, roll onto the outside edge of your left foot. Flex the left foot, lift the left hip, and then begin to raise the right arm into Vashisthasana, side plank. Now feel your center line like you felt it in tree pose. From your inner heels, you're hugging in, your inner thighs hugging in, crown of the head reaching forward, the shoulder blades are projecting across the upper back. You're rooting, find space in the left shoulder, right in it. Begin to rotate right, sweep the right arm overhead. Take a deep inhale and very slowly lower the right hand. Come back to plank pose and set your knees down. Spin your fingertips to turn out to whatever degree towards the outer edges of your mat, towards your knees. And let's take 2 cat-cows. Breathe in the chest forward, then coil it up into cow. Breathe out, contract the belly and drop your head to round. 1 more, breathe in. And sweet exhale through the nose. Here, relax to neutral spine. The index fingers to face forward again, parallel to each other. Shoulder blades down the back, protract the shoulder blades apart. Firm the lower belly and straighten the legs, heels or feet hugging each other. Then roll onto the outside edge of your right foot, flex, still flexing both feet. Lift the right hip away from the floor and raise the left arm to stack the wrists and shoulders in one line. Breathe. Feel the center line of your body hugging from left and right sides towards it. From the heels back, elongate the crown forward. Feel the protraction of the shoulder blades as you rebound your weight off the floor to the right hand. Last few breaths. Rotate your left tricep to face the left wall. Sweep the left arm overhead. Take a deep breath in. Slowly come back to plank pose. This time from plank, glide forward through chaturanga. Take it all the way to the floor. Set your forehead on the ground for one bound, locust pose. Have your knees as close together as you can. Point the toes actively back so that the knees are not resting on the mat. Then reach the hands behind your lower back to clasp or grab a strap between the hands. As you broaden the chest, reach the knuckles of your hands back towards your heels and then press the heels back so much the legs lift off the floor as you coil your chest up, gently lifting your head. Give yourself at least 5 deep breaths here, focusing on equal in and out breaths, sustained. Feel that you're keeping your feet parallel as you point the toes back. It helps to visualize your inner thighs spinning slightly towards the sky and your tailbone reaching towards your inner heels. This is a great posture to strengthen the muscles that support the spine, especially the lower spine. And then when you're ready to come out of it, move into cobra or upward facing dog for an inhalation. Then exhale into downward facing dog. Breathing in. Breathing out. Begin to walk your hands back towards your feet. Bend the knees as much as you need for a different version of Padahastasana. Stepping on the hands. This time, plant the hands flat face down in front of your feet. Then turn out the hands like we did in all fours. Now you could stay here, or if you're able to spin the fingertips to face your toes, walk your feet right onto the tops of your hands. And there, stretching the inner wrists and forearms, drop your head and lift the shoulders away from it. Remember, you could bend the knees as much as you need to feel more accessible in this pose. Now, you could also add some depth by bending the elbows towards your shins. Dropping the head, you could shake it out. You could flutter your lips. Open the mouth wide, stick out the tongue. A couple more breaths here. Giving the wrists and forearms some love as we open up all of the back side of your body. Now release the hands out from underneath and separate the feet wider than hips width to prepare for a squat of your choice. Turning out both legs from the hips. Then you could sit all the way down. You could sit on a prop if you have a block or a pillow. And if so, you could step the heels wider apart and try to sit up tall. If it feels natural for your body, some bodies it doesn't, you could hover your pelvis off the floor using the elbows to splay the inner thighs apart. Just be mindful to keep your knees stable by aligning the center of the kneecap with the center toe, like we've been doing like in Warrior Two. Then firm down through the tailbone, lift up through the heart, and draw the shoulders back and down. From here, let's add a twist. Cross your left arm in front of your left thigh to keep splaying it open. Fingertips can be on the ground. And then press your right hand into your inner right thigh as you lift the spine from the pelvis and rotate the chest, looking up towards the ceiling. Now you can keep pressing into that thigh, or you could raise the arm and lean back further to open the front of the shoulder. Or you could wrap the right arm behind you and maybe catch hold of the top of your left thigh, adding a deeper shoulder stretch. Or take a full bind and wrap the left arm in front of the left shin where the hands might clasp behind your back. Keep drawing the tailbone down, lifting the heart, and twisting for 2 more breaths. At the end of your exhale, gently unwind and come back to center. Use both elbows or arms to splay the inner thighs apart and find a lift again through the center of your spine. Second side of the twist. Cross the right arm in front of the right thigh. Plant your fingertips on the ground or a block. Press your left hand against your inner left thigh And feel the pelvis heavy as you lift the spine from it and rotate your chest, gazing up. Stay here or add raising the left arm and leaning that left shoulder back. Or go further and wrap the left arm behind your back, maybe catching hold of the top of your right thigh. Or go a little further into a full bind where you wrap the right arm in front of your right shin and the hands meet to clasp. Let's take 2 more breaths. Firming downward through the pelvis, lifting up through the heart space, and twisting. Now at the end of the exhale, carefully unwind and place your fingertips on the floor in front of you, about 1 foot ahead. Heel toe the inner edges of your feet together as if coming into chair pose. Bend the knees, but splay the knees apart and begin to draw your sitting bones back as you crawl your fingertips forward, like your torso is in child's pose and your legs are in a squat with the feet touching. Stay here. This can be a nice stretch for the lower back and hips, or use this as a preparation for the arm balance we often call crow bakasana. To get into crow, walk your hands back until they're about 1 foot again in front of your feet. Keep your arms parallel and follow your belly, lift the hips high. Bend the elbows back, creating a shelf out of your upper arms, and look forward about 3 feet ahead of your fingertips. Place your knees as high as you can onto your upper arms and let them ride the elevator of your upper arms as you shift your weight forward. Keeping the feet together, you might lift a toe, you might lift both feet. Feel the rooting down to your hands, the rooting down to your knees onto your upper arms as you hollow the belly and lift the hips, gazing forward to help shift your weight forward. Whether or not you catch hang time, feel proud of yourself for whatever stage you've entered. Feel the quality of your breath. And we'll meet sitting down in Baddha Konasana, dropping the knees apart and bringing the soles of your feet together to touch. And once you are sitting down, bring the heels close to your pelvis and lift up through the heart space. Extend through it and fold forward. Whether you're holding your feet or you're crawling your hands forward, feel your sitting bones rooting down. And as your thighs splay open, feel the broadening across your lower back. Breathe into that area by visualizing. 3 more breaths in bound angle pose. Now leading with the chest, breathe in to slowly rise. Extend your left leg forward as we prepare for a seated twist. Setting up your right foot either just in front of the hip, crossed outside of the left knee, or also bending the left knee. Grounding the 2 sitting bones, place the right hand on the ground behind your pelvis. Raise the left arm and press into the ground with every part of your body touching it. Take a deep breath. Exhale, rotate the rib cage to the right and lower your left hand, either onto your shin or hook your left elbow outside your right thigh. Keep rooting down to rebound and lift up through the center of your spine. Hollow your belly as you exhale and continue to deepen the twist. Relaxing the shoulders. Let's take 3 more breaths. Spinal twist can offer a wonderful release of tension along the back, along the spine. As you exhale, unwind. And let's switch sides. Right leg straight, left foot is either in front of the hip or crossed outside of the right knee, in which you might also bend the right knee. Place the left hand on the pelvis, raise the right arm, press into the ground with every part of your body touching it. Breathe in and lift up through the spine. Exhale, twist to your left. Lowering your, either catch hold of your shin or hook your elbow outside of your thigh. Keep pressing into the ground, breathing in as you rise taller. Breathing out as you twist further. About 3 more breaths. Feel the natural space at your throat as you lengthen through the back of your skull. At the end of your exhale, unwind the spine and let's straighten both legs forward for Paschimottanasana, seated forward fold. So as you separate the feet hips width and flex them, if you want to use a strap, go ahead and place it around the balls of your feet. If you don't have a strap, place your fingertips on either side of your hips. Draw the shoulder heads back, lift up from bottom of the spine up, and then hinge as you breathe out, hinging from the hips. Breath by breath, lengthen as you inhale, hold as you exhale. To offer more support for your lower back, think of these cues. Firming down through left and right sitting bones, hugging outer hips towards the midline creates traction in the spine. And as the pelvis stays heavy, lengthening from lower spine forward through chest, through crown of the head. At the same time, firm the belly up towards the back to support it. Let's take 3 more breaths here in Paschimottanasana. Leading with your chest, breathe in to slowly rise up. All right, we're going to set up for tabletop pose. We're going to take 2 rounds of it, so you might explore 2 different variations if you like. Let's begin in tabletop, where it's inverted tabletop. So the feet are hips width apart, parallel. Hands are behind you. Let's start with the fingertips turning back towards the rear of your mat. So watch first before you do it. We're going to contract the hamstrings, lift this, and actively stretch the tailbone forward in order to try to parallel the thighs and torso to the ground. You want to end up where your knees are directly above your heels and your shoulders are directly above your wrists. And as you broaden the chest, tilting the chin back, you want to slide the shoulder blades down your back away from the neck. So try that, rooting down through feet and hands, lift the pelvis, lengthen the tailbone forward, and keep the thighs parallel as you tilt the chin back, shoulders away from the neck. 3 to 5 more breaths. Your count. This posture, of course, opening up the fronts of the shoulders, but also stretching into the wrists and forearms, as well as strengthening. And then when you decide to come down, slowly land your pelvis. Make some gentle fists out of your hands and just softly circle your wrists or circle your hands in both directions. All right, either do the same thing with the legs and just spin the fingertips in the opposite direction to face your heels, or set up for 1 step further, which is Paschimottanasana. It's an inverted plank. So the inverted plank begins with the legs straight, the feet are together. Then you press the soles of your feet onto the floor, contract the hamstrings, lift the pelvis, and then the upper body is similar. Tilt the chin back, slide the shoulder blades down the back. So take your choice, either with bent knees again, or feet together, legs straight, soles of the feet pressing down. 3 to 5 breaths. And when you do lower, come all the way down onto your back for bridge pose. Bending the knees, stepping the feet on the mat, hips distance parallel. With arms by your sides, locate your feet so that they're just where your fingertips could almost touch your heels, but not quite. Then grounding the shoulders and feet, lift your pelvis up, tilt the chin slightly back, and slide the upper arms closer together. You might clasp the fingers. So give yourself 5 or more deep breaths here. Engaging the hamstrings, lengthening the thighs forward, and taking full breaths to expand your lungs, opening your heart space. Setu Bandha Sarvangasana, bridge pose. And once you've lowered your pelvis, keep your knees bent and separate your feet wider than hips distance, maybe as wide as the width of your mat. Separate the knees just as wide as your feet, then drop both of your knees to the right side, pointing your left knee down the center line of your mat. Either remain in this open twist as we offer a stretch into the left side of the lower back and hip, or go further by crossing your right ankle just above your left knee onto your right thigh. You might also add raising the arms overhead and catching opposite elbows to frame your head. Relax the shoulders down. Let's take 3 more breaths on this side. Carefully unwind, release the arms, and start with the feet as wide as the mat width about. Drop your knees to the left and point your right knee down the midline of your mat. If you'd like to go further, cross your left ankle above your right knee on top of your right thigh. And even further, raise the arms overhead and switch the cross elbow on top as you hold opposite ones. Relaxing the shoulders. Let's take 3 more breaths. Coming back to center, give yourself 1 last minute for any cooling posture or movement. It could be happy baby, shoulder stand or plow if you normally practice it and know how to do so safely, or simply lifting the legs up like I'm doing is relaxing for the nervous system. Taking a few last breaths in that minute, gradually lower your body and find a comfortable position to be still for a few minutes of Shavasana. Allow the breath in, expanding the belly and lungs. Feel the breath out, releasing. Begin to move your fingers and toes, gently your head. Ease into a simple stretch as you keep your eyes closed. Drawing the knees into your chest. Hug it all in. Feeling the effects of your practice on your inner and outer being. Gently turn over to your right side, resting your head. And gradually, as you feel ready, lift your body upright to sit for 1 minute, pausing, observing the breath, observing the mind as we ground in breath. Let's begin. Joining your palms to meet at your heart, bow in. Let's seal our practice, closing together with one chant of Om. Take a deep breath. The light in me bows to the light in you. Namaste.